We welcome you, Professor Thishan Jayasinghe from Poonakary University. Thank you for being with us in our studio. Recently, the government approved a 700 megawatt solar plant in the Poonakary tank in Kilnochchi district. We will discuss that as well, but before that, I would like to know your thoughts on the current scenario in Sri Lankan power sector.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. So if you look at Sri Lankan power sector, we know we had a crisis. So 2022 huge crisis. Now the crisis is generally not there, but we have power failures. There are so many things. So let's see what is going on. If you look at Sri Lanka, because we have tropical climatic conditions, we use very little energy. So for a house, we need about 60 to 200 units, average house. I'm not talking about house with air conditioners, but an average house, the electricity demand per month will be 60 to 200 units.
Right.
But if you look at the total energy requirement, again, we are not highly industrialized country. The total annual energy demand is 17,000 gigawatt hours. If we look at daily basis, it can vary between 44 to 49 gigawatt hours.
Okay.
So you multiply it, so in rainy days it may be less, warm days it can be more.
Right.
But you take the average and on the other hand 17,000 divided by 365 will give you the average. So out of this 17,000 gigawatt hours, if you look at our main power sources, we know we have over 2,100 megawatts of installed hydropower, but we don't have water. We don't have enough water. So, though we have 2,100 megawatts of installed power, we cannot generate at 2,100 all the time. And if you look at our scenario, the night time can be about 1,200 megawatts of electricity demand. Peak is 2,600 to 2,800. When you have a cricket match, it can go up to 2,800.
Yes.
When everybody is glued to the TV, like that. So, out of this 2,800, that is the peak. And peak is the critical one. So, we have to see why peak is critical. For that, we have to see the mix that we use to generate energy. And people talk about power, but what actually we need is energy. And electricity is the purest form of energy. And if you look at our capacity, we say 300 megawatt Norachole, but actually it's 270 megawatts. So Norachole can generate 810 megawatts. And that is a continuous power supply. We call it base power, base load. So Norachole is fulfilling base load. Then if you look at the peak, 2,600, in days with a lot of water, when you have rainfall, reservoirs are spilling, we can even generate 2,000 megawatts. If all reservoirs are spilling, but that is a very special scenario, special day. We get all spilling. So generally we can generate about 1,000 or 800 megawatts depending on the availability of water. So night peak is 2,600, 800 comes from coal, Norachole, 800 comes from hydropower, 1,600, 1,000 shortfall. This 1,000 shortfall can be solar, but solar is not available in the night. Can be wind, yes, available. Mini hydro, available. But that is not sufficient. So every day we may be short of some 600 to 800 or 1,000 megawatts of power, and that comes from diesel and combined cycle. And shortly we will get a natural gas plant as well. So far it's not commissioned. So if you look at the costs, so the bottom line is cost. So hydropower is very cheap. It may be 5 rupees, but you know, because we are not generating hydropower in Colombo. When we generate hydropower in Victoria, we have to bring it to Colombo. And our grid is also not very efficient. It has losses. An ideal situation is 5% loss or 4% loss. But our grid can be 12 to 20% loss. So our transmission losses are high in Sri Lanka, and it has to be improved. So when you generate hydropower, so sometimes a reasonable figure may be 10 rupees a unit. When you consider the wages of electricity board, employees, transmission losses, there are so many things we have to look for. And exact figure may be 7 or 6 rupees, but let's have a reasonable value like 10, because just for comparative purposes,
yes.
Right? Then how much would it cost for coal from Noracholi? 65 rupees per unit. How much would it cost for an efficient combined cycle plant using heavy oil? Might be around 90 to 100 rupees. But we also have all diesel plants. The cost can be sometimes 150 or even more. The diesel is very expensive these days. So when you look at all these scenarios, what is important is getting the minimum price, because at the end of the day, CEB should try to provide electricity to the customers at a minimum cost. Then we have to see where solar lies. Solar can cost about 25 rupees per unit. But there's a very special type of solar, and that is the latest technology, where in addition to having solar, we can have a large battery backup. And the idea is solar is generated, it fluctuates all the time, but it goes through batteries. So what we get out is continuous power, like Noracholi. So that's the type of thing we are going to look at with this particular project in North Kilnochi district. And I would like to talk more about it. So if you look at the scenario, when you talk about pure solar, which is very low quality power, because whenever you generate, you have to use it. But we can't generate it during the time of evening peak. Evening peaks can start around 5:30, can go up to about 9:30. And those 4 hours, we need a lot of electricity, but solar is not available. So we say solar is very low quality power. But the moment we back up solar with battery, it becomes high quality power. And high quality power is cannot be provided, bought at 25 rupees a unit. High quality power is expensive. It has to be around 50 rupees a unit, because the investor has to spend on solar panels and batteries, and every 8 to 10 years batteries have to be replaced. You have to look after the battery storage with air conditioned storage systems. So a lot of extra costs are involved. So, and also it's high quality power. You get power when it is needed. So it's an ideal situation. And this particular project can be ranked as a very good one, because we did a mistake in 2015, and that is scrapping Sampu plant with Indian assistance, 500 megawatts, generating 3,500 gigawatt hours per year. We scrapped it, and we did not take any action to supplement that. We scrapped, said we are happy because we are protecting the environment. But there also we have a big mistake. The mistake is Sri Lanka is a very low carbon foot country. Per person per year, carbon emission is less than 1 ton per year. In Middle East is 20 to 25.
Right.
USA 16 to 17. Australia 16 to 17, or it can be 18. Whole European Union 8 to 10, except France, because France has a lot of nuclear. And so India 2, China 5, Sri Lanka 1, with a population of 22 million. India is 2 with a population of 1,400 million. So if somebody says we must cut down our carbon footprint, he is talking absolute rubbish, because we cannot change the world by cutting down our carbon emission If carbon emission is cut down, it should be by USA or European Union or China or India, because they have a huge population. What can we do with 22 million population when you consider 8 billion people in the world? We can't do anything.
Yes.
So we should never cut down, try to cut down, but now it's gone. We have cut down and we have suffered enough. So that's why we have to now think about what are the short-term solutions to come out of the mess that we have created ourselves by scrapping well-thought generation plan without having a closer look at the repercussions. So that is the current situation.
Thank you, Professor. Very interesting statistics. The United Solar Company, Australia, is coming with a very large investment. It's a foreign direct investment of 1.7 billion US dollars, approximating to about 550 billion rupees. What is the significance of this solar project to Sri Lanka in this context?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I would qualify it saying it's not a solar project. It is a battery-backed solar project. So there's a huge difference. Solar, as I explained earlier, low quality power. Battery-backed, high quality power. And the installed capacity is 765 megawatts. And it's a direct investment, foreign direct investment, FDI. Right? And out of this 1,700 billion US dollar investment. So we have to again see what is the meaning of this 1,700 billion US dollars. If you look at, we have about over 2 million people working abroad, and what they send to Sri Lanka per month is 500 million US dollars. So this is close to over 3 months money that they send to Sri Lanka. With one investment is coming out of this 1,700 million US dollars, 1,200 is equipment, because from Australia they will supply all the solar panels, battery backup, everything.
Right.
Whether it comes from Australia or from China through Australia, it's not important to us. What is important is 500 million US dollars will be the money that is spent in Sri Lanka, or that is equivalent to about 150 billion Sri Lankan rupees. And construction industry has dropped to a very low level. And here we are going to have a project where there will be 150 billion rupee investment going into a construction industry, because you can't keep the solar panels on sky. You have to support it. So all these civil works with pre-stressed concrete technology, advanced methods will be needed.